In this lecture, we look at basics of conduction heat transfer and its mechanisms. Before we go into the details of conductive heat transfer, let us try to understand a mechanistic picture of molecular motion and its relation to temperature. So when we say thermal energy, it is mostly we refer to the random motion of molecules. So it could be random translation, vibration, or rotation of the constituent molecules. So temperature is essentially a measure of the kinetic energy. Of what kinetic energy is the random kinetic energy. If you have a higher kinetic energy, which means the temperature is higher. So you see a pictorial depiction here. So the molecules are all overall on the average they are stationary. That is, this box is not having a mean motion, but around a point they're all moving randomly. So this kinetic energy, which is the fluctuation kinetic energy, is what is related to temperature. So here you see a lower temperature, and when the kinetic energy of these molecules are higher, the temperature also increases. So importantly, keep in mind that kinetic energy is not the kinetic energy of mean motion, such as in pipe flow, but it is a kinetic energy of random motion. So while thinking about conduction, it's very important to have this molecular picture in mind. So in this video, you will see an animated picture of what uh, conduction is, what molecular motion and temperature is. So here you see a temperature scale. So as the temperature is increased, and then it will be decreased. So here the molecules have a very large random motion. Notice that there is no mean motion. That is, the box itself is stationary. Its box itself is not moving. The entire box is stationary. However, the mean motion of random motion of molecules is initially slow, and as the temperature is increased, the random motion also increases. Coming to the mechanism of conduction, let us take a picture, the molecular picture at three levels: for a gas, a liquid, and a solid. Now, in a gas, molecules are in a rarefied form. They hardly come into contact with each other, and they move very large distances without colliding with each other. So, this is the molecular motion in gases. In liquids, molecules are moving, but they're some moving in something what is called as a cage. So you think that the molecule here predominantly stays here for a very long time, and then slowly goes out and then goes out there and so on. So the molecules in liquid are localized to a smaller region. In the case of solid, they're localized, highly localized. They hardly move out of their motion, their location. Now, when we mean, when we look at define what is conduction, conduction basically is transport of this kinetic energy, which is the temperature, right? So conduction happens in gas by translation. So suppose a molecule here has got low kinetic energy and a molecule there has got high kinetic energy. When this molecule from here goes there, or when molecule from there comes here, it brings kinetic energy, higher kinetic energy from there to lower kinetic energy here, and this carries lower kinetic energy from here to there. So predominantly the kinetic energy is transported by translation of molecules and very little by collisions. So conduction, which is the transport of this random kinetic energy, is by translation mainly and less by collisions. In the case of liquids, molecules are uh, localized in the cage, and the kinetic energy is mostly transmitted by collision. So this molecule collides with this, and that transmits the energy and by collision, and then it reaches the other end. So higher kinetic energy here is slowly transported across this entire domain by purely collisions and not by translation. There is some small translation, but that is nearly insignificant. The heat is transferred, but the molecule is there in the same place. Here, molecule also shifts, heat also moves. So both heat and molecules are transported here. Here, molecules are transported to much lower extent than the heat. In the case of solids, molecules are not transported at all. They're all localized. Only heat is transported, and that is entirely by collisions. In the case of metals, there is also an additional mode of transport, that of free electrons, because electrons can move across these molecules. Electrons also, in their motion, have random kinetic energy, and they can take random kinetic energy from here to the molecules across the solid. Let us look at diffusion of heat and mass. Now consider this experiment here. What is shown here is three instances of the same experiment. One, as you see macroscopically, initially there is a concentration of some dye here, and that dye diffuses and reaches here. So you see a front, we'll see it again. We'll see a front which goes from here across the interface. This is what we observe as diffusion in the macroscope. Suppose you see it in the lab, you will see this. What happens microscopically? Microscopically, let us say the dye particles are colored here. It does not mean that there are no other particles. Of course, the dye particles in a dilute concentration, the water particles which are here, which are not shown. Okay, so initially the dye particles were confined to motion only here, but at time t equal to 0, they have more space to explore. What is shown here is just one of these dye particles. If you observe this dye particle before time t equal to 0 and after time t equal to 0, it is still moving in some random motion. So essentially, all the molecules are individually moving randomly. They're not moving, they're not having a directed motion. What we see is a directed motion here is only a consequence that because there is more space to carry out this random motion, it appears as though it is a directed motion. But at the molecular level, the molecules move randomly. This is what we have learned as diffusion. Now take this analogy to that of heat. So here we have, let's say, a liquid or a solid that is being heated by a candle on one side. So red denotes high temperature and blue denotes lower temperature. So you will see that at higher temperature, these molecules vibrate a lot or have random motion, more random motion, that is higher temperature. When they are blue, which you will see here, there is very small motion, okay, small random motion. So that is low temperature, red is high temperature. Now, what happens here? When you heat the molecules that are here, the molecule themselves are at this location, but the heat goes from here to here. Now, there is an analogy between this and what we see here. Here, heat goes by random motion from this place to this place. Here, the molecules themselves go from here to here by random motion. So this random motion and random conveying of mass and heat is called as diffusion. And because the mechanism is very similar, like the diffusion in of heat is similar to the diffusion of mass, both are called as diffusion. So essentially what is happening here is conduction, right? What we knew so far as conduction of heat, that's high temperature to low temperature, the mechanism is actually by what is known as the diffusion of heat. So which is the random conveying of heat across the body. So because of this similarity, many times a lot of uh, results that we derive for heat transfer also applies to what lot of results we derive for heat transfer also applies to mass transfer. In fact, the textbook that we are following is Introduction to Heat and Mass Transfer. It's a huge big textbook, but the mass transfer part there is actually only one small chapter. That does not mean that earlier things are not applicable. A lot of things, with especially with respect to conduction and convection, apply to both heat and mass transfer. Of course, you don't have radiation, but other than that, it is very similar. Let us introduce some notations which we'll be using throughout this course. Q is the heat transfer rate. The unit is in watts in SI units or joules per second. Q prime is the heat transfer rate per unit length. So it's in some approximations, instead of considering an area, we'll be considering a length. So in that case, we'll use Q prime, as watt per meter or joules per second per meter. Then we have heat transfer rate per unit area. This is much more commonly used in heat transfer, which is Q double prime. It's also called as the heat flux. And then you have the volumetric heat transfer rate, which is Q dot. It's not Q triple prime. Some people may use Q triple prime, but it's in this textbook, we denote it as Q dot, which is watt per meter cube. Now, heat transfer rate due to conduction, you've all studied, is written by this Fourier's law. That is the heat flux. This is watt per meter square, which is Q double prime. Okay, watt per meter square is proportional to the gradient of the temperature, and the proportionality constant is the thermal conductivity. So, which is the uh, Fourier's law. To summarize, in conduction in solids and liquids is dominated by collisions, what you see here, whereas in gases it is by translation. And it is very useful to keep this picture in mind while you analyze heat transfer problems. Thank you.